What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, daily news, everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., with the economy, money, investing, the stock market, inflation, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's completely free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here, so let's jump right in. President Biden said he is going to make sure that Americans aren't going to be gouged for gas prices, and that he credits last month's release of the 50 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserves, and that gas prices are going down, and he expects them to continue to go down even more, but not quite as fast as he had hoped.
I think you'll see it change sooner than quicker than more rapidly than it will take than most people think. Every other aspect of the economy is racing ahead. It's doing incredibly well. We've never had this kind of growth in 60 years. But inflation is affecting people's lives. But if you take a look at it, if and when, God willing, we get the Build Back Better proposal, if you look at what's inflation all about for people, they're paying more for things they need than they had to pay before. That's the bottom line. Now, if they're paying considerably less for childcare, considerably less for health care, considerably less for insulin, considerably less, and go down the list of being able to take care of their parents, all the things that are in the Build Back Better plan. The reason why economists think it's going to, in fact, diminish the impact on inflation is because it's reducing costs for ordinary people. So I think but in the meantime, in order to get that up and running, and we don't have a single Republican willing to support it yet, in order to get that up and running, it's going to be focused all on the downside. The downside is prices have gone up because of supply chain concerns. We've worked as hard on the supply chain concerns. I think you're going to see, you've already begun to see, and you're going to see over the next couple months, oil prices, prices of gas pump come down. You know, the biggest, a third of the increase in inflation is used automobiles. So, I mean, it is a real problem. But the point is that has to do with supply chain as well. But it also has to do with the fact that not everybody's looking for a used automobile, but those who are, they're paying higher prices because there's fewer of them because of COVID and what was sold out and the like. So I think it really is, it's a real bump in the road. It does affect families. When you walk in the grocery store and you're paying more for whatever you're purchasing, it matters. It matters to people. When you're paying more for gas, although in some states we've got the price down below $3 a gallon, but the point is, it's not gone down quickly enough, but I think it will.
According to a new report here from Forbes and according to a new outlook, the gas prices are expected to drop under $3 a gallon in 2022 here, which is not far away. The national average price of gas is $3.34 a gallon, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, which is over $1 higher than this time last year. You can let me know your thoughts if that's President Biden's fault or not, but we are seeing gas prices rise everywhere in the world, not just in the U.S. But according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the EIA, the short-term energy outlook forecasts retail gasoline prices to fall to $3.01 per gallon in January and finally reach $2.88 per gallon on average over the course of next year in 2022. Let me know your thoughts on that. We also have a lot of states and possibly even a national gasoline tax recall where they might get rid of the gasoline tax. We have lawmakers calling to repeal the gasoline tax, and also states like Florida considering repealing the gasoline tax in their state, and other states possibly considering this as well, as a temporary repeal or reprieve to basically give a temporary savings to their residents. We also have some lawmakers kind of clamoring for this as well, to basically give a savings to residents here in the United States as a way to basically give back to the residents here. This is a possibility here. We could see this as gas prices are just kind of very, very high. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Here is White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on inflation and Senator Joe Manchin. Remember, we need Senator Joe Manchin to pass this next package. And Joe Manchin has been very outspoken about the cost of inflation going forward, and his thoughts on inflation, and how he might not want to pass the package because of inflation.
Can you talk a little bit about the White House outreach to Senator Manchin and other senators on the Build Back Better Act in relation to the recent CPI index reports today?
Let me take the first one first. Let me first say that as it relates to the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index data this morning, let me start with the data. The data was taken in November. Even since that time, over the course of the last nearly 2 weeks, we've seen a decrease in costs in some of the areas that account for a big percentage of the rise in inflation. So about 50% of the inflation numbers, is attributed to the rising gas prices and the rising car prices. On gas prices, and we had a chart, maybe they'll pull it up again, that Brian Deese, our NEC director, talked about just yesterday. What we've seen in recent days are gas prices are coming down from their peak, and this obviously is not captured in the data, since the data was through the course of November. So in 20 states, gas is below their 20-year average in real terms, and natural gas is down 25% from its November average. We attribute this to a range of factors, including the president tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in coordination with partners around the world. But more broadly, we're seeing positive signs of supply chain bottlenecks being addressed that are helping address this as well. And we expect those numbers to continue to decrease across the country. The other piece and gas, I should also note, on the wholesale market is down over 30 cents per gallon since its peak, which is, again, a good sign. The other piece, as we're seeing as it relates to cars, is wholesale car prices are down as well. Used car prices are down as well. So when car dealers are purchasing cars, they are at a lower cost than they were before for a range of reasons, including the availability of chips, because we've helped solve some issues in the supply chain. That means that as we look to the first quarter of next year, or the first couple of months of next year, those car prices are going to keep coming down. One other third note, let me just note in the data, one of course, the factors as it relates to costs that consumers are experiencing, the American people are experiencing, is, of course, the cost of food when you go to the grocery store. 25% of that, our economists or economic experts estimate, is related to meat prices. You go, you buy a pound of burger, you buy a poultry, whatever it may be. And our assessment here, and we've taken steps as it relates to our competition agenda, is that dominant corporations in these industries are taking advantage of their market power to raise prices while increasing their own profit margins. Meat prices are a very good example of that, something we're working to crack down on. And just to give you a sense, gross profit margins for big meat processors are up 50%, and net margins are up over 300%. That should not be the case. That is not all attributed to supply chain issues, et cetera. So I just wanted to dig into some of the data things there first, but I will note as it relates to how we have these conversations now with this data out, our argument is that this makes passing Build Back Better even more imperative, even more important, because what Build Back Better will do is it will start cutting costs early next year, including for childcare costs, cutting them in half in 2022, making preschool free for many families starting in 2022, saving families the $8,600 a typical family currently spends on preschool, leading to the construction of additional housing units starting in 2022. These are all areas, the way people, and the president just talked about this too, experience inflation, as you all know, is not through the data or graphs, as much as we love graphs in here, but it's about the costs on their family budgets. And so that's why in our view and the president's view, the argument is even stronger to get it done now.
Yeah, so as she talked about, the cost of everything at this point is raging up, and the new inflation data shows that inflation is at the highest point it has been in 39 years. And we're not the only country dealing with this. We had a recent report that showed that the cost of vegetables in China are up 30% year over year. Our inflation right here as an overall is up 6.9%. So just to show you that we're not the only country dealing with inflation. Everybody's dealing with inflation across the world. Everything is up, literally everything. And from gasoline to vegetables to car prices to energy, gas, natural gas, pretty much every single thing you could think about. I mean, I'm sure there's a few things that have gone down in price, but not very many things. Not very many things. And it's tough out here. It's tough out here, which just shows the need for more stimulus checks for everybody, because people are really in need right now, especially low income people who are retired, seniors, people out there that don't have a lot of money, right? People that people that we advocate for, people that need the help the most, right? Yeah. Speaking of that, President Biden is actually going to be talking to Senator Joe Manchin this week. President Biden will be speaking with Senator Joe Manchin this upcoming week to try to get his support to vote for the stimulus package here this week. But President Biden says he's not sure whether Joe Manchin will back the Build Back Better bill ahead of the call this week and vote on it this week, as this will be a crucial week to see if they can pass it here before Christmas. Yeah, so President Biden will be speaking directly with Joe Manchin to try to gain his support here in a very crucial week. So the battle of the Joes, Joe Manchin and Joe Biden here. Joe Biden was asked whether he could lock down Joe Manchin's support, given the West Virginia's inflation worries. Biden said, quote, "Well, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to be talking to him at the beginning of the week." The president speaking said that he has a negative impact on inflation and wants to make sure that it doesn't raise inflation. And quote, but that's hard for people to think about right now because inflation is up and there's a direct correlation in most people's mind. Why is there inflation? Well, that's the government's spending money, he continued. That's not the reason for inflation. The reason for inflation is that we have supply chain problems that's really severe, and it's causing a significant increase in prices in things that, in fact, are hard to get access to. And Senator Joe Manchin has conveyed that he has several problems. He's actually used the word budget gimmicks with the top line number that the Democrats have said is the price tag for the stimulus package. And it's kind of a almost Republican stance here. And Senator Lindsey Graham from the Republicans and several Republicans have kind of outspoken. The Republicans actually asked the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, to give a new score for the package, the Build Back Better package, to what the Democrats call a fake score, to extend the package out for 10 years or for some of the packages permanently, and see how much the bill would cost if they extended the bill out for many more years than they were currently will. So, for example, the child tax credit in the bill only goes for 1 year. So the Republicans asked the Congressional Budget Office to extend the child tax credits for 10 years instead of 1 year, which the bill is supposed to go to, and said, how much would the bill cost then? And all these different things in the bill, they said, well, what if the things went for 10 years, or if some of the things went permanently, how much would the bill cost then? And they came up with this number of $4.9 trillion, which is like 3 times the size of the current bill. And the Democrats are calling that basically fake news because, well, the child tax credits are set to go for 1 more year in this bill. And if they were extended again, would need to be voted on again. Okay, and remember that next year in November, there's going to be a new Congress. There's going to be all sorts of new people in Congress. It could be Republican controlled, it could be Democrat controlled. Who knows, right? So to say that the child tax credit could be extended for 10 more years, who knows? And that's just one of the things in the bill, right? Of course, there's all sorts of different things in the bill. So the Republicans are kind of using this as big press to kind of try to get Joe Manchin to vote against the bill. Yeah, so it's kind of the big thing going on here in the last few hours. Of course, we know that Republicans have been trying for many days here to try to do anything they can to not get this bill passed and to not get anything positive for the Democrats. Of course, Democrats are trying to get it passed. There's a lot of things in this bill. The child tax credits for children, Medicare benefits for seniors, lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing, lowering the cost of childcare, lowering the cost of health care, Medicare benefits, all sorts of different things in this package. Health benefits for expectant mothers, adding paid preschool in there. The majority of states do not even cover preschool, and you've seen the average cost. I think Jen Psaki actually mentioned it in there. The average cost of preschool is $8,600 for a single child per year, and there's only a few states that actually cover that. So if you want to send your child to preschool, it's $8,600 for a single year. We're the only country, the only first world country in the world to not have paid family and medical leave, believe it or not. And so if you're an expectant mother and you go to have a baby, well, you can't exactly go to work on Monday. If you work at a small business that doesn't offer paid family and medical leave, or if you catch the virus and you can't go to work and you have to quarantine for 10 days and you can't take time off, or you don't get paid time off, you're not going to get a paycheck. Well, if your job won't pay you, you're literally going to miss out on a paycheck. These are just some of the things in the bill. Yeah. And of course, we have multiple different groups, millions of people pushing to add a forced stimulus check in there for adults, in addition to the child tax credits in there for the children. So, in fact, a recent report has come out that there's still about $500 billion in there, or not in there, but still available from recent stimulus packages as well that could potentially still be available. So, they could actually use this money for any type of stimulus programs. Yeah, so they could actually use that for a fourth stimulus check for adults as well. Yeah, so there's still a lot of possibilities that could be used here for anything. For anything, for rent assistance, for mortgage assistance, for stimulus checks for adults, for anything. Yeah, literally anything. So let me know your thoughts here. I think that there's really a lot of possibilities. If you've been following our show, we also have state stimulus checks, state stimulus programs, universal basic income, rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, literally almost on a weekly or daily basis coming out here on our show. And I literally, just as soon as I find out about them, I'm letting you guys know about them all the time here, all the time on our show. New programs like this are coming out here. We have multiple different states doing stimulus checks as well. We have California, we have Maine, we have Tennessee doing a $950 stimulus checks. to families with children. We have Illinois considering $200 stimulus checks to families. I'm sorry, to individuals, $200 and $400 to married filing jointly couples. We got a lot of different states doing stimulus checks, and going forward in 2022, we're going to have a lot more going forward because the majority of states have like 80% of their money still available. And we have a lot of states doing tax cuts. I just did a video here where a lot of states are reducing the cost of gas prices and grocery taxes. A lot of states are reducing their taxes on their citizens because a lot of states are just flush with cash right now. So I think going forward, we're going to see a lot of these programs coming out from the states as well as the federal government. And I think that's just a possibility here in the new year, or even just December. But I'm just talking about just going forward here. I think there's going to be a lot of possibility of these type of programs going forward here because honestly, states and the federal government, there's that $500 billion from the federal government. That's just unspent stimulus money, not even counting new money approved by Congress. And then the states have 500 billion, and then states have this $350 billion that they were given from the third stimulus check package, which like 70 or 80% of that money is still unspent. So states are going to be doing their 2022 budgets and deciding how to spend that money. So the vast majority of it's still available. So I'm going to keep you up to date on all these things here, as well as daily news and what's going on here in our country. So make sure to subscribe down below. Join our family of YouTube family subscribers here. It's free to do so. Literally just click subscribe and join our family here. Help us reach our goal of 400,000 subscribers. We also actually just reached 150 million views here on our channel, which is absolutely just amazing to think that. That's almost half the population of our country. Our country has like 330 million people. So think about that. It's absolutely amazing. And we're going to be doing a giveaway here this upcoming week for cash. Our What's in the Box contest. We're going to be doing it this week, I think. So our Christmas cash giveaway with the What's in the Box contest. So stay tuned for that as well. So kind of our way to give back. We did it last month. We're going to do it again this month. We've done it a whole bunch of times in the past. So definitely don't miss any videos at this point. So remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also click the share button down below to share this video with your friends and family so that they can join our channel as well. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus video next. And this video talks about the grocery stimulus that a lot of states are doing here. I just talked about that in a recent video. So if you didn't see that, click on this video. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.